Is there a storm?
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it is.
Well, only the weatherman's been talking about doing a storm for the last 3 days, and it's been clear skies, so it's like, whatever.
It's going to be raining, but this is
Yeah,
Virginia.
I can,
I
Whatever they
know,
say,
I can
right?
it's the
smell the.
opposite.
I can
I
smell
tell
the
you,
rain.
the weatherman is the only person who can be wrong 98% of the time and still get a decent paycheck.
Oh yeah, like I said before, I don't trust the weather after they said it was going to do 100% snow, and then the next day it was 60 degrees,
That's
nice and
cute.
Okay,
sunny.
so the blue flashy light that I saw in Sal's car was just lightning reflecting off of it.
Ah. Well, you're the one.
Skadoosh.
You are
Not
stuck
seeing.
by the window.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's just out of the corner of my eye, and my eyes are drawn to movement. Unfortunately, like Sal will turn
Skadoosh.
on something on his screen, and if it's captivating enough, I'll just be like, he's like, move to other monitor I can't see.
Move away from the pictures.
I can't help it. I'm just like, shiny.
Alrighty, well, welcome internet. It's another night. Scuba and the Rye and friends again. Sal and Volgraza are joining us for what is this, week 4 of quarantine, social distancing.
Quarantine 2020.
It's an
Live.
interesting little tidbit I heard on my morning news brief on my Amazon Echo devices, and that is the origin of the word quarantine and how it means 40. And back in the day for old shipping, when ships would come to port, they'd have to sit there for 40 days before people could disembark. And then a parallel is like, okay, well, 20 plus 20 is 40, so hey, it's coincidence, right?
Interesting.
I know.
Mm.
That rain is pretty nasty. Whoa.
Yeah, it looked like dark clouds out there when we went out to get a pizza.
I went out.
Made it back
Like
in time.
what we were talking in the pre-show. I went out for a walk today too. I got tired of sitting inside as much as I have been, so I decided to walk down to the corner store to grab some munchies because I had a thing for munchies, and
Support
it was
your
like
local
clear
economy.
skies and everything, and it's like, what's up?
Yeah, same.
So
It
I
was
was like,
like
all
really
right.
pretty.
So yeah, fun times. So what have you guys been doing during quarantine? How you been?
Rye, you want to go first?
I've been good, just working from home. So I just get up, open my laptop, and get going with whatever I got to do. And then after that, I've been, doing some reading, working on that romance novel, slowly editing it. Might go and breeze through it one more time or have someone else edit it behind me once I'm done editing it myself. And then also I decided to do something fun online is I'm doing this 20 albums in 20 days of the 20 albums that have impacted me throughout my life. I'm
Yeah,
up
I've
to
been
number
seeing
7 today.
those. Have you been? I don't know. You haven't been posted those on the Scuba Studio page, have you? I think you have the access to.
No, I haven't been putting it there, but I
Okay.
I can move it over there. I can
Um,
share it over there, or you can share it over there. Somebody can
I'll
share
take
it
a
over
double
there.
check and look and do that.
Yeah.
There might be some interesting conversation flow there.
But yeah, I've done 7 albums so far. That includes today, so 7. And like I save everything, and not just I don't just post it on the Book of Face. I also have a document to save it, so I can look back and see what I did.
Ah,
So other
Nice.
than that, lot of show watching, some movie watching, a lot of gaming. So and contemplating picking up a game at the end of this week.
really? What,
Yeah.
don't you have enough games in cellophane virtual wrap that you still have to break out?
Oh yeah, I do have Days Gone that's still wrapped up. But there is a game coming out this week that after looking at all the reviews, is making me really, really intriguing to pick it up.
Hmm, interesting.
The Final Fantasy VII remake.
Ah, yeah,
Yes.
that's right.
Like the more and
I,
more I watch all these reviews, the more excited I get
I wish I had a PS4.
because it looks like from the reviews that it is fitting my need of what I like in RPG.
Nice.
So
That works. That works.
All right, so I guess I'll go next. The this I draw every Saturday I do a drawing, Saturday or Sunday, depends. And this week I watched an anime called The Tower of God. It's on Crunchyroll. Hashtag not supported yet. Anyway, so this one particular character, his name's Head-On, and he looks like a person in like a bunny, sort of like a bunny suit, but it's different. Like the mask looks, it doesn't look like a mask. It looks like it's actually part of his body. And he's so fascinating, the way he looked and everything. So I was like, I've got to draw this character. This is so like cool looking. So I drew him as a machine, like as if he was turned into a machine. I posted it up on my Twitter. You can probably see it at Jamin Allen, the number 1, on Twitter. So if you want to take a look at it, you can check it out there. Then I did the coloring. So I do line art first, and I'll post that, and then I'll do the coloring for just because I love coloring stuff like that.
Okay.
Anyway, let's see, what else have I been up to? Walking, just getting the walks in.
Sal, how about you? How's your quarantine week been going?
It's been interesting. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
Due to some fortunate events.
Let's call it what it is.
I got laid off from my job for reduction of force.
Yeah.
We will keep as that. But from there, I've been just kind of the first few days, I've been deciding to just chill, not do a thing for a while, kind of relax a little bit. And Monday, I hit the books or hit the web, so to speak, and start putting my stuff in. And today, I actually got a phone call from a hire agency
Nice.
that is putting me in for 2 jobs. So,
That's good.
Yeah, that's a
and,
definite bonus.
So, but also I've been working on the project, and here shortly we'll be able to kind of show it off a little bit. I'm not going to give too much details until we can do a proof of concept, so to speak, of it. We have icons created for it. We've got a kind of a logo for it, if you want to call it that. Kind of a mascot for it. So we're working hard on it, trying to get everything working. Right now I've got looking for a project manager for it.
You haven't sent me anything yet.
We will. Definitely.
Now you just gave the I will help, so you're screwed now.
Well, I consider that a synergy. You're helping me with the studio production stuff. It seems only fair that I help you with your stuff. I mean, it's that synergy. Well, like we were talking about. We're talking about bartering. I need a service from you. You need a service from me. So hey.
Yeah,
It works.
so
Give and take.
yeah,
Give and
but otherwise, I've been doing. There's been an update to one of the games that we play.
Oh, really?
Yes. So.
What kind of update?
So it is not a major update, but a update that unlocks artifact, which in this game actually increase different aspects of the game. Get it harder or get it easier or more money, that kind of thing. But I know most all of us, I know Volgraza has heard of it because we were playing it.
Uh-huh.
It's Risk of Rain 2.
Interesting. What's the game
Rain
about?
is an RAIN or Rain as an REIGN?
Rain.
Rain.
As in rain. That's
Precipitation.
coming down right now.
Oh, okay. RAIN. Okay.
I feel the water.
So
No, we're not doing any puns
very-
about singing in the rain, Rye. We're not punning that.
I can splash everywhere.
But yeah, it's a very interesting game, and I've been playing it for a little bit, but we have a group of 4 guys that we go all in and kind of get all these different little things. You have to do different things. Like the one mission is you have to carry a battery from your pod that just dropped on the ground that you escaped from through all of your stuff to get to hell or the hell map and drop it off there. Well, the problem is you have this battery, which now you do not have a equipment slot, which you could put lasers and rockets and all these other crap on there. So you lose that ability. But also the key is if you get hit too much, it blows up. And then you die. So I've tried it twice so far and I've lost both times. So I'm not doing it alone anymore.
It's hard.
So
it's one of the major things. It's a roguelike
but
game.
Yeah. But anyways, we'll probably talk about that in the game section.
Okay.
More. So
Sounds good.
I think it's Scuba's turn to give us what you're doing.
Oh, wow. Okay, so yeah, I'll dive into that because a lot like since Saladin and I both are used to work at the same place.
I was gonna say
after last week's show, we had a morning meeting, which to be honest, because of who was organizing the meeting, we all kind of had a bad feeling going into it, and that bad feeling was confirmed. So since that kind of threw off the whole week for me, and it was after that, one of the things I was realizing, because I've been with that company 10 years, off and on. So,
yes.
Yeah, affiliated with the company for about 10 years, because I did 3 years seasonal, and then I did 7+ years as a permanent employee. So I haven't actually gone for an actual interview, big boy interview, grown-up interview, adult interview, as you want to call it, in over 10 years. So obviously my body has changed a lot. I don't have the right clothes. I haven't done my resume in over 2 years, so I figured, you know what? As I said, it's like this is probably the worst time to go job hunting. I'm sure we all can agree. Worst time to be job hunting. However, this is probably not the worst time to be laid off, because with everybody over COVID-19, everybody is on hold. So yeah, I don't feel the same pressure and anxiety as if, it was business as usual. And then it'd be like, oh, I got more. I still had all those bills. Don't get me wrong. But I don't feel I am in such a stress. So, and there was a nice article on LinkedIn today about, if you get laid off during this time, take the opportunity to reinvent yourself, polish things up or whatever. And I started doing that by looking at having a professional resume consultant go over my resume to help me figure out this eclectic gathering of skills I've got and see what would be the best way to step forward. I had 3 different calls with 3 different perspective contracts, and then a 4th strictly via text, and then there was a 5th that I haven't responded, but they hit me up out of the blue on Facebook. But the 3 I talked to, it's like, average price about $600, $600 to $800. And they do the complete rewrite, back and forth QA, revision, and including an update to my LinkedIn profile, which I felt is an important thing because self-marketing, I'm not very good at. I'm gonna be straight up honest. I am not good at self-marketing. I'm learning how to self-market because of this show and this studio and this wonderful experiment we've been doing for the last year.
Sir.
But I'm, trying to figure it out. So I had the 3 calls. The first call wasn't too bad. They provided me like a Google Hangout link. I went to it and nobody was there. And the guy kept calling me every time I answered, it wouldn't connect. So by the time it did connect, I was already irritated that this didn't just like connect and go.
Wasn't.
The second call, it was a half-hour time slot. Whereas the first and the third one are 15-minute time slots, but half hour. We talked and we were just giggling and laughing the entire time. So I felt that was a good conversation. There was one thing we lamented in there. She said is sometimes when you think of a resume, it reads kind of like an obituary. It's all about what you did.
Jeez.
Think about it. This year to this year, I did this. This year to this year, we remember him for that or her for that. It reads like an obituary. So she's like, well, she's like, her part of her pitch was like, okay, we make your resume sound like it tells a story, makes people interested in you. My response back, so you go from obituary to New York Times bestseller? That's the plan? And
Hey,
at that point, she was done.
I am jealous now.
So, and then the third one is another small shop, only like 3 or 4 people, and their thing was, okay, let's do 3 hours of coaching, and then we'll do the resume stuff. So it's like 2 services you got to pay for. You got to do one before you can do the other. But I still have to make a decision and kind of progress forward with that. And then with a family member moving out of state, I have an extra room. So part of the thing for the weekend, aside from these contract interviews, so to speak, it was revamping rooms. And one of the things I did is I collected all of the shoebox totes, little totes, odd-sized totes that have been hiding in all the nooks and crannies of the house for the last 8 years or so. Pulled them all into the space behind me. It was stacked like all the way to the bottom of the shelf and everything. It took me 4 days, but I consolidated it down to maybe a fifth of the original space. And now I've got like, my couch is full of empty totes and shoe boxes. They all need to be sorted out. It was a great project for Top Shelf today. I had him washing all of them. It took him all day. It took him all day to wash all these totes. It was great. I was hoping it would not take him all day, but it took him all day. And so that was pretty much what I've been up to. I did jump in game side. We'll talk about when we get to game side. Also had a couple of interesting interactions today with some kind of odd places. I wasn't really expecting these interactions, but I'll get into that a little later, because when we gaming, it's all gaming related, specifically D&D side. So I think that's
all that in the show notes.
Yeah, I saw that in the show notes.
Oh yeah, that's right, show notes. But yeah, it was been an interesting few days. I mean, this whole I'm looking at it's like, I kind of left the one job and rolled right into focusing on the studio and then actually just being a stay-at-home parent, which, to be honest, all the time my kids have been alive, I've never been a stay-at-home parent. I have worked like stupid hours constantly. The last year was the first time I could actually do like regular hours. I use that loosely. And actually be home more to interact with them. So some things are better, some things not so much. Say again?
If you need advice, let me know. I'm a stay-at-home dad. Well, I mean, not right now. I'm on vacation.
Now, the term you're looking for is geo-bachelor.
Geo-bachelor. I like that term.
Geo-bachelor. Yeah.
Yeah, we used it was one of those things referred to.
A new model of car coming out.
Say again?
The 2018 model. It's like a car model.
Well, we used it to refer to active duty members who they were on the base. Their family was like 10 states away. So it was geo-bachelor. Geographically, you're a bachelor. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what that's what I've been up to. And with that, we can go ahead and roll into our first topic of the night, which is, again, our usual movie reviews. And Rye's got something for us for sure, so one moment.
Yes, sir.
Over there. Right.
There we go.
There we go. All right, and so first, this week's movie is Logan Lucky. All right, Rye, tell us about this one.
All right, so since there's no new movies to watch because everything's crashed and burned and nothing comes out nowadays, I've been going back through the catalogs, both streaming and my own personal Blu-ray DVDs, looking for old school rewind reviews. That's what I call this segment, where I go back and review an older movie that I might have missed, and then give my 2 cents.
Okay.
So the movie that I watched is available on Amazon Prime, and it's called Logan Lucky. It's a
Okay.
film that came out in 2017, and it's basically a heist film, but with a catch. So what you have here is two brothers, Jimmy and Clyde Logan, both played by Jimmy's played by Channing Tatum, and Clyde is played by Adam Driver, and they basically are put in a rock and a hard place, and they decide, hey, we're going to do a heist at the Charlotte Motor Speedway and steal the money from the vault. But the catch is they have to steal it during one of the busiest times of the year there, the Coca-Cola 600. And that's the basic premise of the film. So from there, you basically have a general. If you've ever seen a heist film, you basically know plot point what's going to happen. So you have your introduction to the characters, a plot trigger event that leads them to set up what I call the basic planning stage of a heist. You got the material gathering, the schematic layouts, and then the expositional conversation that spells out how everything's going to come together, and it creates that illusion of the perfect robbery. But if you've seen any kind of heist film, you know not everything goes off perfectly and things happen unexpectedly. So even with a lot of the predictable beats of a typical heist film, what you have here that makes the film stand out are the two characters in the unique situation of them having to rob during a NASCAR race. So that does create some interesting humor and also propels a certain kind of realism within that familiar heist outline.
Okay.
So what you have is a matter-of-fact characterization within blunt humor. Basically, what I called it is, I said this to my brother because he watched it with me, is it's basically British humor within a redneck setting. No pun intended. It pretty much that's what it is. So if you really like British humor, very dry, very blunt, very in your face, and you know it's not the typical slapstick or a dark comedy or over the top obscene. It's just very. If you know British humor, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's
So,
very dry, but it's very on the nose. So,
all right. So let me ask you, Channing Tatum and Adam Driver.
yes,
That's a combo I can't readily picture. How
Yeah.
does their on-screen chemistry work for that? Because I mean, Adam Driver we know is definitely like his big thing right now is the Star Wars sequel franchise, or
yes,
sequel trilogy as Kylo Ren, and then and of course got a couple other things, but he has done a few comedy things. Like he did that zombie movie opposite Bill Murray and the spoof off of Undercover Jobs. But how does it work with like Channing? How's it work? How's it work between the two of them?
Their dynamic as brothers is really fascinating because you have two opposites that attract each other. You have Channing Tatum as Jimmy, who's like the brains and the bronze, and then Adam Driver as Clyde. He's a war vet, so he's very subdued and subtle, but he likes to go into these like wacky conspiracy theories. So their complexity of brothers just kind of clashes in a way that it's funny, fully, and it feels like real brothers. So, and just like with the rest of the characters in the film, like Daniel Craig's in the film, Hilary Swank's in the film. It's like a who's list of actors and actresses. And what you see is that they take they take their part of the common archetypes that you find in a heist film and pushes it above with a little bit of realism, and just because of the setting, because it's very, it's Southern America, and it has to deal with NASCAR culture and living out in the sticks. So you got a lot of that mixture within that heist outline that makes everything just kind of keep you on the edge of your seat because you want to know how everything's going to come together at the end. Because if you've seen a heist film, they pull it off, but there's always a couple twists. So there's a couple red herrings that happen that kind of lead you off the typical predictable beat that gives it a genuine feel of, even though you know what the outcome's going to be, it's kind of fun to see how it gets there. So you're taking all these pieces of the puzzle and trying to piece them together, trying to figure out how are they going to pull this off. So there is a lot of convenient plot points that make things, everything just has to fall into place for things to happen, but it doesn't doesn't feel out of the norm. Like it's just there as a Deus Ex Machina just to be there. It does make sense when you get to the end.
Sounds also similar type of format as like Money Train or Ocean's 11, only without
You hit it
quite
on
so
the
much
nod.
the ensemble cast.
Yeah, you hit it on the nod, and just like those films, what makes them stand above the outline is their unique setting. You have Ocean 11, it takes place in Vegas, and you have the other one that takes place where it takes place. So,
Well, yeah, I mean, Ocean's 11 was Vegas during fight night,
yeah,
and taking advantage of a state law and an opportune time, kind of like how you're saying this one is taking advantage of a race where it's going to be really packed, and it's a great opportunity, loosely phrased. And then Money Train, New York subway, again, it's that how are they going to pull this off, and are they actually going to pull it off in the end?
Yeah.
Because you have this odd couple brothers between Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson.
Yeah. So, like I mentioned, they do diverge from the typical formula of a heist film because of those couple red herrings that happen in the third act that you don't really see coming. But like I said before, it makes sense. Like there's a plan beyond the plan. Like not everybody has the plan. Like people know what they need to know, and then Channing Tatum's character has something else going on.
Okay. So how did this one do in the theaters when it was originally launched?
It was launched in August of 2017. It's one of those smaller films. This actually is directed by a famed director, Steven Soderbergh. So Steven Soderbergh, all the films that he's done in the past.
Well, for those of us who don't know, what are some of the films he's done?
Some of the films that Steven Soderbergh has done. He has done.
You don't know either.
Movies. He's done. You caught me off guard. That's why. But
you don't think I'm going to make this too easy on you, do I?
Oh no! You're fine. You're fine. But just to name a few highlighted films that you might know, you have the Ocean's films. 11, 12, and 13.
Oh, no wonder it feels like Ocean's 11.
So he's done Magic Mike, Side Effects, Aaron Brockovich, Traffic. Just to name some notable.
Okay, so I'm seeing where Channing Tatum is in there. I can't. Bleh. Words and things.
Tatum.
Which one of those films has he done with Adam Driver?
None from looking at the list.
Huh.
So this is first.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it is. When it came out, it was on the indie circuit, so it got a lot of praise from the film goers out there, and so it got a lot of buzz. It didn't make a lot of movie money because of it being a smaller film coming out in August, and everybody that knows August is the dumping ground. Maybe not this year because of what's been going on, but usually
we got a couple
August,
of news articles to go over with that.
Yeah, but yeah, it did fairly well for being a small film. It got the buzz. It got the recognition from critics and fans of the genre. So it did what it needed to do.
All right, so what's the RAI rating on this?
The RAI rating is overall, it's a heist film, so it has a lot of the predictable beats, the setups, and the genuine outcome that you would expect. But it's the journey and watching these two brothers pull off this heist of trying to figure out how it's going to happen, come out, that makes it an enjoyable film. So I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. It would be worth seeing as a matinee at the theaters.
Okay.
But it's available on Amazon Prime, so I definitely would recommend it to anybody that likes heist films. Or even likes NASCAR, because it's kind of funny what they do.
NASCAR's got a wonderful history by itself, which is a whole nother conversation. So what's next on that one? Because I'm thinking it might help out for next time is like all four of us catch the same film if it's via either Amazon Prime, Netflix.
Oh, I haven't figured out what I'm gonna watch next.
Okay. What about you guys? Let me open it up to you guys. Is there a movie that you've been wanting to see or wanting to get Rye's opinion on, since we're doing this rewind thing, that you guys have access to that we could kind of see? It's like have a group discussion on.
Have you already done the one Pacific Rim 2?
I've not watched Pacific Rim 2. Is it available on one of the streaming platforms?
I think it's available on Netflix.
I'll have to take a look.
No.
Take a look.
Also throwing that out to the chat. If there's a movie recommendation from the chat, by all means, toss it in the chat, and we'll see if we can't put it on our radar.
Yeah, I did mention earlier in the pre-show that Trolls World Tour does come out in one of these 2 weekends on VOD. So
yeah, it comes out this Friday on VOD and theater.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I wasn't too happy with the first one, so I'm not exactly jumping in line to see the second one.
I've never seen the first one, so.
I saw a commercial for the first time either today or yesterday for that, and it seems like it's, there's all kinds of different tribes of trolls. Let's go check them out. And each one has a different musical style. Like the centaur ones are country music. The sparkly ones are hip hop or disco. It's just like, okay.
Guess what the emo ones are?
Stereotype much?
So
Maybe.
So, are y'all interested in checking out this heist film? Are you a fan of heist films, Bograza or Saladin?
Yeah, I like the heist films. I'm not
Or let me rephrase this. Are you a fan of British humor?
Yeah, Monty Python,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend this to you because when you're watching this, you're going to be like, holy crud, this is British humor in a redneck setting. This is awesome.
Sounds great.
All right, definitely have to put that on the radar to check out.
It is on Amazon Prime, people. So if you have Amazon Prime, check it out.
Alrighty, so what other shows and movies have we been watching? You guys, we were talking earlier, you guys are still watching through Westworld, right?
Yes, we're close to finishing season 2.
One episode.
One episode? Okay. How you liking season 2 so far?
It's a wild ride. Everything that you would want in a series. A lot of mind stuff. Surprises.
Yeah, I recently realized I still have access to HBO, even though I thought I turned that off.
Whoops.
There is something, unless you put it on the news notes. HBO is offering like 500 free hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, Saladin of HBO content.
And then they have like some
there's
things
500 hours, and there's certain movies that if they play on HBO, you can watch them. Otherwise, you can't.
Because I stumbled across Alita Battle Angel, so I finally got to see how that ended, because I missed the ending when I was in theaters. And yesterday, I watched Day After Tomorrow, and then went old school, because I've been having an itch to find and watch this movie, and that is The Abyss by James Cameron.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
That's
a great one. I was disappointed it wasn't the extended edition, but I have that film so well documented in my mind's eye that I saw the scenes that are in the extended edition and played through how those dialogues went each time. But
nice.
I was like, I had my daughter watch it with us, and it was just she hadn't seen a lot of those older films, and I was like, they just don't make films like The Abyss anymore.
Can't spell.
ABYES?
The Abyss.
I love that film. But yeah, so it was those two shows. Oh, and I watched Onward because that was on Disney Plus. I actually sat through more of that than I did the Will Smith Aladdin. I'm gonna be honest. There was a couple of times I had to stand up and go get my drink from the other room because I was just like, oh my god, this is corny.
How did you like Onward? As when I reviewed it a few weeks back. Are you close to what I said or no?
I'd have to reread your review on that, but I thought it wasn't bad. It was definitely one of the more unique Pixar films. Because what I like most about Pixar stuff is when they do their unique stories.
Yeah.
not a and most of that, pretty much all of them are, but this one's really kind of unique, and I love how it's that whole play on fantasy and all that fantasy type stuff, which is relevant right now in pop culture. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But I thought it was pretty good. I like how Chris Pratt and Tom Holland interact. It's definitely predictable. You kind of see how it's going to go after a certain point. But I still like how the play on things. It's like this big epic quest. And wait a minute, they're back at high school?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's why I said it's like that movie is a gamer's paradise with all the little subtle references.
Oh yeah.
So
lots of great references for D&D and fantasy and all of that. And then of course, the typical Pixar games, like which scene where's the Pizza Planet truck? Where where's Joe Ratzenberger? Which character is he voicing in this one? So
D&D is a good segue into one of the other topics.
Oh yes, by all means, lead us on that segue.
No, I mean like for you.
Oh,
you mentioned it earlier.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, we'll roll into state of game and all that. I'll skip the music thing for this one. But going into state of game, I was looking out through Facebook, checking my various site stuff, and one of the first things that came across my radar this morning was Wizards has put out the starter adventure, Lost Mines of Phandelver, as a free module on D&D Beyond until May 5th. To try and encourage a lot of those stay-at-home people still playing, even though they're social distance and whatever. Mm-hmm. Another thing is on one of my podcast support groups, trying to connect with other people in this new industry we're getting into, and somebody had made a post. Hey, is there any D&D podcast looking for players? And I was like, I'm actually thinking about starting a D&D podcast. And then he's like, if you are, I'm interested in playing. I'm like, okay, do you have a profile on D&D Beyond? He goes, what's that? Go. Just go. Just go check it out. It's a great resource and whatnot. But it's interesting. It's like all this stuff with D&D and especially this virtual distancing stuff. It's like trying to get in. And I'm actually seriously thinking about starting a D&D show. So anybody who watches this, feel free to comment. Or what do you guys think? I know Saladin's in one of my games that we do. He's a Dragonborn Nerdin.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's been a while since I played D&D.
So yeah, I think I might try and get that going. I'll do some more research on that. Maybe get something started later this month, beginning of next. Just do a D&D show. I'm thinking about that. I mean, rather it's strictly purely online because I don't want to. Some of my groups may not want to have their stuff put out there like that. But it has been something I've been kicking around when it comes to just being diversified and having a bunch of different things out there is like something to grab. And who knows? Yeah. I might get lucky like Realmsmith and be able to chat with some of the bigwigs of the community and the creators to kind of work on stuff.
You never know.
Definitely. So that's the other thing I've been watching is Realmsmith's Into the Mist, which is their Curse of Strahd campaign, and it's like. They were supposed to wrap that up last month at a convention, but the convention was obviously closed because of COVID. So they did the thing online, and they had Matt Mercer and Matthew Lillard as guests on the show, on their season finale of that. So I was like, ooh, I want to see how this goes.
Oh,
but
it's interesting.
I think so. I like the idea of doing it. I know I was considering getting one of the Realmsmith boxes just because it's a prepackaged D&D adventure each month, and over 6 months you have a full campaign. So and they give you everything you need and whatnot. So I was like,
yeah,
right up my alley as a tabletop crafter and getting into miniatures and stuff. But
looking at this, the next thing, it's Nintendo reportedly planning on Mario remaster for Switch to
Yes.
celebrate Mario Super 35th anniversary. I didn't realize I'm older than Super Mario. Wow.
That is interesting.
Amazing,
How
isn't
about
it?
that?
I mean, if thinking about it, it's like Super Mario Brothers versus
Yeah, but it
like
came out
you
when I was a
know
kid, so I
Mario
was like,
first
oh,
appearing
yeah.
in Donkey Kong.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Jumpman Mario.
So what's your what do you think about this article? Because I know Rye sent it, so
I'm excited for it because I meant like Nintendo is notorious for repackaging their games constantly over and over and over.
yeah,
But just to kind of get all those games, one, I'm okay with something like this because it's 35th anniversary. It's another one of those big 5-10 anniversaries, and the fact that you're going to have a lot of these games on the Switch. Like they updated the article saying that it's being reported that Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and the Mario Galaxy games are going to be added into this special anniversary collection,
which I think
as
is
well as
good.
reports of the Super Mario 3D World and a few others.
Which is good because
So.
way back right before the end of the original Nintendo's run, you could get Mario, Mario 2, and Mario 3 all on the same cartridge, and be able to do that, and then getting into some of the lost episodes and things like that. But I think Mario is quintessential to gaming as far as in the sense that without Mario, you probably wouldn't have home consoles because that's what kind of saved the whole video game industry was Mario.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong, but in my humble opinion from my childhood, Mario is what saved video games.
Mario saved the world.
As for my favorite Mario game, I'd probably be the one with the flying suit, like Super Mario Brothers 3.
You got a
Yes.
slight echo going on there, Graza.
Oh, sorry. There we go. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. Which one did you say? The flying suits?
Yeah, the flying suits from Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah, the raccoon suit, which is
raccoon
so
suit.
weird because wait a minute, raccoon flying? What?
There's a history behind that. They were originally they're called tanukis.
Ah,
And, the history of tanukis in Japan. You know why everyone was like, ah!
Mario 3 I like a lot. I liked Mario 3. I didn't actually play a whole lot of the 64, the Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, Mario Galaxy, all that, the later console stuff, but the early console, I think Yoshi was the newest one I played, maybe a little bit of Yoshi's Island 2, or Yoshi's Island, I played a little bit of that, but for me, it's like Mario 2 and Super Mario World were like two of my favorites. Mario 3 was good, especially once you figured out how to bypass a lot of the levels and go straight to 8. What about you, Gross?
Yes.
What about you, Saladin? What's your favorite Mario experience? Okay, flip the mics around so you can talk. There we go.
Dr. Mario.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Now, the
Dark
reason
horse.
for Dr. Mario, okay, is not because I was really good at the game. It's because it was sentimental. Me and my mom used to play it all the time.
Well, it
And I
has
mean,
such a
that was
great
our game.
music beat. And of course, who doesn't want to see those viruses dancing?
Yes. But I mean, it was one of the most played games in our household. Because anytime we would sit down and my siblings weren't around, me and my mom would sit down and sit there and ram out probably, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 rounds and see who got the top.
Nice.
She usually won. But yeah, I got close. Got really close to beating her. But you know
got
my
close.
mom.
That's all that matters. You got close.
Yeah. But I mean, Dr. Mario, if I had to do any other games for Mario, it would probably be Mario Kart 64 because we had a 64. And that was our other game that we played all the time.
Yeah. I like the Mario, if we're branching out outside of Mario Brothers, there's also Mario Party. Those are always good times, especially the little mini games.
Yeah,
So.
but yeah, those are the ones that I played most of the time, and those are the ones I would probably make an emulator to actually probably play them again. But
From what I understand, the way the trademark law works is if you have the cartridge, you have rights to the game.
oh yes, then I probably still have the cartridge. Well, it
Sounds
wasn't a cartridge.
Investigations.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yoshi Safari
ah.
using the
Look
scope.
at that. He got it. Look right there.
Wait.
Right there.
Wait, it's not working. What do you do when it's not working?
Aren't
Come
you
on.
the man?
No, Grosson
Man.
did it. I don't have to. He pantomimed it for us.
I remember.
Alrighty, so our next story is looks like some more Nintendo news, and that is the Outer Worlds is coming to Switch this June. Rye, you've probably played the most of it of the four of us. Is this a good thing,
yeah.
or another sign of the end times?
I'm gonna side with this is exciting news for the Switch, and it just adds more credence to how amazing that system is. Not only has Nintendo managed to not, Nintendo has all their first party games, so they're gonna have a good list of games to play. Zelda, Mario,
Yeah,
this little pink thing back behind me will be on there.
Kirby.
Some, yeah.
Mhm.
But also the thing is, the Switch has been a bedrock of a lot of indie games. Like you just go through that e-store and you can just go one day and just find like 30 new ones every day. And also, the one thing that Nintendo's been having a hard time over the last few years is getting those third-party games, even if they're older or not, or they have been getting a lot of ports to the system. You have The Witcher 3, you had Skyrim, you had Doom, you have a few others. This one right here is another big win because, like you said, I've been playing a lot of Outer Worlds, and I'm almost done with the game. I'm in the last part, and it gives credence that this machine can handle some huge games because this game is very deep, very introspective, and very dialogue driven and choice demanding because of the open worldness of the RPG. So
Well,
it just adds a more variety and more choices on why you can get the Switch and have some fun.
nice. Alrighty.
And on a side note, that's a really good game. That's a really good game.
I keep meaning to go back to it. I probably will. Probably will in the next few days. Alrighty. Next story is this one was just recently today. It was PlayStation 5's controller has been talked about.
Yes, I seen that. There
So
was
why don't you tell us about this one? You're a good technophobe.
that controller. I'm looking up the article now because I actually had it pulled up.
Okay.
Is that one of the ones that were posted in here?
Yes.
Let's see if it's the same one.
Third one under video games.
Let me see if
Letter
it's the
C.
same. Yes, this is a different article. Oh. Anyways, this controller, if they keep it the way that they want to plan this, it's actually going to be a very nice controller for feeling
Okay.
because it's going to allow you better control for the most part, believe it or not, because of the buttons. Because
yeah, PlayStation
how
the 4
buttons-
controller is good. I like the feel
Yeah.
of the PS4 controller.
well, because they're going to do smooth buttons.
Ooh.
The buttons are going to be a lot smoother. If you take a look at some of the images that they have, you'll see
Yeah.
that they're only raised a hair, where you can actually feel them a lot better. But before, when you're going across some of the controllers, it had that rubbery feeling,
Mm-hmm.
so you couldn't slide on it, which was great. Problem was, if you're sliding your thumb around, it hindered you from sliding it around, so you could do multiple controls at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we all know those up, down, right. Doing those fancy movements would not help you at all.
Yeah, fighting games are not friendly on the PlayStation controller.
Yes.
This
And
is
it's because of that.
definitely designed for
Now, Also, they've actually moved some of the controls so they're a little bit closer. The thumb pads, if I'm not mistaken, they were talking about it in the article I was reading, that they only moved them like 2 millimeter closer. But with those 2 millimeters closer, your fingers are more natural instead of that just a little bit out of whack when you're playing on a game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the biggest things when you compared to the PlayStation controller and the Xbox controller. It was it's subtle, but the distance, you can totally see that. And if they get that closer and closer, where you really can't tell the difference, then it just really does become down to personal preference. Do you want the D-pad, or do you want the left side with the D-pad close, or the joystick close? Because that looks like it's really the only difference between the two.
Well, no. This one actually, okay, so you know Rumbles. They have the Rumble pack inside the handles and stuff. They're going to do a tactile feeling in your R2 and R L1.
Oh, okay.
So when you're pulling it, you'll actually have the tension of actually doing it instead of that, okay, you hit it. It's just a trigger. Now you're going to have that fine movement that you had previously, but you never had the feeling of it. They're going to add that. So, I mean, even with this article, I'm kind of skimming it over as I'm talking. And they're saying about the same thing, but the one part they haven't said anything about is they're moving the thumb. I can't think of what you want to call them. Not the thumb pads, but the
analog sticks.
Yeah, analog sticks. They're moving them just a hair closer. I don't think this article has said anything about it.
You can tell if you get closer by just looking at that image.
Yeah, I mean, they are closer, but the part that really got me was that they actually moved like the start buttons and stop button and that kind of stuff as well. So they're easier to hit. You don't have to actually let go of your controller or try to reach over to hit that button. They moved them up on the top. So you're possible to hit them with your like index finger or even your thumb while you're on like the triangle or the up pad. So I mean, it makes it a little easier. So in some of those situations, you're like, oh God, I got to pause for a second, or something happens and you have to restart, or you don't have to try to let go and kind of lose that grip, because I know that was part of the cause of some gamers is you're like, you lose that perfect grip, then you try to get it back and it's not coming back.
Oh yeah, totally. I totally see that.
So, I mean, with this controller, I'm a PC person.
Exactly.
I admit it.
Which is why I'm listening intently to your opinions on this. Because you give me a hard time all the time about the fact I can only game on a console. I'm not part of the PC master race.
But with this controller, I see that me personally would probably try to play it a little bit more. As long as it actually goes to a PC. I would still be on my PC because I don't have a console, but if this controller was adapted to a PC, I could see myself using it.
PlayStation a few years ago just released an app so you can stream to PC, and you can connect it as a Bluetooth controller or via the USB cable. So whether it's Xbox or PlayStation, you can connect them to the computer and use them as your device. I have a PlayStation 4 controller.
Well,
I bought, even though I don't have a PS4, but I bought it specifically to connect as a Bluetooth controller to my computer.
PS5. Oh, yeah. We don't know if they're going to have that functionality. Remember how it? They're being all proprietary.
It's essentially a computer in a box anyway.
You try telling a console player that, and then they'll freak out.
I am a console player, and I'm telling you that.
Yeah.
Over here, as long as I can play my games, I'm good.
Right?
Yeah.
Bottom line, it's gameplay. We're all gameplay.
Well, so with this one, I would say go and look into it more. But with the aspect of this is coming from a PC player, that mouse and keyboard, but from just my review and looking at this thing, I would say I would probably be getting one of these.
Okay.
At least the controller. Because that controller does bring back some memories of the old Nintendo, where that simple little stupid controller, you're sitting here like this.
You talking about OG Xbox, or are you talking?
No. I'm saying
360?
Nintendo.
Oh, Nintendo. Oh, okay.
Nintendo controller, that little pad where it had no rubber points to it, where you could hit them buttons and
Where you only
just
had
go.
the two. You only had the two, the A and the B, and then you had the A, B, X, Y, and then the bumpers.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, I got a whole drawer full of them.
But it draws me back to that kind of feeling.
Which is good. I think that'll be a definite step in that direction. Plus, everybody's working on ergonomics, and console and gaming is becoming such a routine thing. I mean, we've done a couple of different stories about like the fact they're doing gaming clubs at schools and actually having a gaming league at the college level now.
Oh, yeah.
I think this is probably one of those times, aside from the colleges all closing, still be a great time for those markets. Because you don't have to be in the same room to do this.
No.
It's
Gamers
interesting to
unite.
see the controllers changing ergonomic functions, because you have like the esports aspect where you have people wanting to be able to maintain their players' health with their hand and all of that. So having the company realize that there's a legitimate sports aspect where they can focus the controllers to be more comfortable, reliable, and easier to use, benefits the sports teams and their player base.
Okay.
Well, now that we talked about some game news, let's take a few minutes to talk about what we've been playing. I know I've been doing Division 2 and Monster Hunter World. And Monster Hunter World was a rough one because I hadn't touched it in a year. Got back. It took me a few minutes to get back into the groove. Finally, on my hunts last week, I was able to take out all the monsters that I've been struggling with a year ago. And then last night was Division 2, which for the most part was pretty good because it was me, Rye, and then another gamer I met, KT. Three of us were rolling through, and I think that was my longest stream yet at 4.5 hours.
Yeah, we went late last night. Yeah, but we did a lot of damage.
The last part, that last mission sucked so much because we're right in the middle where it's getting hot, and all of a sudden my Xbox shuts off.
Yeah, that was just like, all I hear is like, a player has left the group. And then I look to my left, and then K2 looks to the right, and it was like, did Scuba get disconnected? And then my phone goes off and says, Xbox turned off. I was like, well, gotta hold down the fort till he gets back. It's on fire, and we're getting blown by flamethrowers. Yeah,
it was a rough mission, but we finished it. What about you guys? What have you been playing? I know it's a PC Master Race and all that.
Well, I am going to show here real quick this. So here is Risk of Rain 2.
Okay.
So I'm just going to read off what it has on here. Other people can see it more than likely, but the classic multiplayer roguelike Risk of Rain returns with an extra dimensional and more challenging action. Play solo, team up to 4 or 3 other friends, so 4 player, and you're gonna fight your way through monsters, hordes, unlock new loot, and escape the planet. So what it is you're dropped on the planet in an escape pod.
So
now
it's like a survival crafting type thing, kind of like
no crafting, but for the most part, you're gonna be just when you go around, you're gonna be finding. Here's a shot of more of the battling, but there is so off to the side here. You might be able to see some of them, but
yeah, I see some.
For the most part,
do me a favor, put a link in our show notes so that people can come and check this game out on the? Because I can see you're on the Steam marketplace.
Yes. And it runs currently at $20, so it's actually a really good buy.
And it looks like it's an early access game.
Correct.
Okay.
It is. And it works really well. I've been playing it for, well, doesn't tell me when I actually purchased the game yet. But it is a single player. You can play it single player, online PvP, online co-op. It does have controller control.
Okay.
So you have controller inputs. You can use a Steam controller to play it.
Okay.
It works on the Steam cloud, which means that you can do all your saves, everything. So I can log into someone else's computer with my account and log right in and not lose any content. It's all there.
Okay.
Now it does have one thing that is kind of fun, is the remote play on TV.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
You can already know what I've been thinking.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Say that again, Rye. You were a little broken up.
I was just singing along with the fun stuff.
So, but it's one of those games that it was released in March, and I think I got it just after it was released. So it's been about a year now in early release.
Okay.
So this game is, I mean, in my review of it, I would say it's a really good time killer.
Is this something you should definitely, if it comes up on any of the sales, pick it up and grab it?
Yes, but keep in mind that it's a different play style than most people are used to.
What's another game of a similar style?
For
a comparison, because gamers or anyone listening, it's like, it sounds like a really good game, and I'm getting the vibe that it's a survivalist type game, but it's not a crafting one, so it's probably not something like Terraria or Minecraft or
no.
I mean, are we talking like Ark similarity or
no. So what you're doing is you're running around and there's chests on the ground. Well, after you kill mobs, you get coins or gold.
Okay.
And when you're running around different mobs and different levels, so you're trying to get to a teleporter to teleport yourself off this world, and you go to another one, and you continue this. It's an endless game.
All right, sounds kind of like classic Zelda.
Yes, kind of like that.
But it's not top down 8-bit.
No,
that's kind of what it feels like. Or based on your description, so am I getting kind of close in that? Yeah. Something similar to that? Because I want to make sure it's like if anyone's going to pick this up, what are they going to get into? Since you're warning them, this is a different style of play. You know, make sure.
So some games have multiple buttons and multiple things that you can do. You can change all this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Hotkeys, things like that.
This one is basically you're going to hit your left, right mouse button, and the Q and R. Those are the buttons you're going to be hitting.
That's it? What's Q do?
That's your equipment key. That's what I was talking about with the one quest that I've been trying to work on. So you can go to a chest and get this equipment. My main thing is I like to look for the rocket ones. It's a rocket propellant. You hit the Q and it shoots off rockets off my back and it auto homes to kill monsters around me.
Okay. What's the
R key? But the problem is, R key is your special, dependent on your character.
Okay. So we got different classes?
Yes, different classes. So what I'm going to do is let Volg take over for some of this stuff. And yeah, I've given enough stuff for now.
All right, Graza. Ball's in your court, my man.
All right, so like what Saladin says, it's a very exciting game. You get 4 people. Also, want to say a side note: this is available on PlayStation 4 and Xbox as well. So it's already out on those markets. So check it out.
Oh, nice! Kind of like how Subnautica was out there as early access.
Yeah, it's not cross-platform yet. Maybe it will be, but right now you can do peer-to-peer, so you could play with Rye on Xbox.
Maybe we can add it to our bucket.
I'm
Yeah,
thinking
exactly. Now the interesting thing is when you basically pick your survivor and you land on the planet and you have it, as time progresses, the difficulty scales up. This is what's called a roguelike. So basically when you die, you start all the way over again. But the goal is to have a build. So like you have a character who has a specific skill set, a specific set of skills. And you get equipment to help synergize with your particular character build.
that. Okay.
And if you know what your friend's playing, you're like, okay, this item was probably better for them. I'll let them pick it up because it's a limited set of loot. Now,
All right.
one person.
Real quick. So
Okay.
Sal said this was single player, but you're kind of alluding to that you could have
No, yeah, it is.
a group.
You can play solo if you want to, but it is up to 4 players.
Okay, so it's a four. So you do have a co-op, not a straight PvP.
Yes. Correct.
Okay.
That's what I was saying.
Right. So up to
Okay.
4 players, and then you all land on the thing once, but the boxes, the stuff that you have to get by killing monsters is limited. There's only so many. So if one person goes around taking all the boxes, everybody else is not going to have enough damage ability to win. So you have to split up the loot and use tactics or whatever to help.
True co-op.
Help your other team. It's pure co-op. So the more as time progresses, the harder the difficulty, the faster it progresses. So it starts off with, like easy, normal, and it gets up to at a certain point it goes, I see you, I'm coming for you, and then ha 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 ha, and that's it. Once it gets done, ha ha ha. Yeah, you go for I've gone 4 hours deep into ha 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 land, and only boss monsters spawn. No little small mobs show up anymore. It's just straight up boss monsters. So
That feels like what we're
Sounds
running
like
through
fun.
with Division right now. We walk the streets of DC. We're not getting a whole lot of the low tier people. We're getting all the
Right.
upper tier peeps in like 3s and 4s.
Oh yeah, they are teaming up and have a special gear, and we are definitely have to coordinate in there.
Yeah, it's a great game. It's a if you want to especially during the quarantine, you want to waste a lot of time or you want to make time go by faster. This game definitely for you. Replayability is great. They keep adding lots of great stuff. There's unlockable things. The quest that Sal's talking about is not technically a quest, but basically when you land in your drop pod, you don't start with all the characters unlocked. You have to go and do challenges to unlock them. So the challenge is to take this capacitor fuel cell that's in the back of your drop pod, put it on your back, and then make it to the hell level, and then get to the top of the hell level where this plant thing is, and stick the fuel cell in there. And if you take too much damage, it goes boom, and you have to start over.
Fun.
I like it.
Yes.
I like it.
So you have to avoid damage, but also kill the boss monsters somehow. So if you're a melee character, it's pretty hard.
All right. So anyway, just real quick, kind of PSA on this is like anyone listening to the audio version of the show, while Graza is being discussing this, Saladin is running through the artwork on for the game and some of the little videos.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of seeing those as we're talking about. It's like the graphics look nice. I mean, they don't look
it's
very
very
complicated, and they don't look too simple either.
No.
It looks like a nice blend.
I'll let Sal continue on this for the graphics.
So for this one, it is very basic. It's not going to be a, oh my god, amazing graphics, but it's not going to be the blah, you could tell the graphics crappy. These graphics are not bad at all. Even the animations are kind of scary. I had to turn my animations down. For one instance, if for those that are watching the stream or watching the video can see on there right now, this is called a magma worm that you're seeing. This thing is horrendously a pain in the royal arse because it does go underground. Well, also the thing is, if you're up close to this thing and you have 2 or 3 of these things going, your eyes are going blurred because
Oh,
all
wow.
you're seeing is this red thing going all over the place, and it's driving you nuts.
All right.
So
Well,
I've actually had to turn them down because certain situations there's so much going on. It's actually not beneficial to have higher graphics. And I mean, the graphics goes up to ultra, and it gives you great detail. Now, what you're seeing on the video is not giving it justice to a point because it's being decoded and recoded and stuff like that through our voice chat. But
it's still though.
overall,
It looks pretty good. It looks like some of the other ones we've seen where it's like this. They're not so much focused on how hyper realistic we can make the characters,
yes.
but a palette that works for the scale in which you're playing.
And
The collecting.
yes, and for this, now I remember you said that you got it confused and said, "Oh, it's only single player." No, the key features I'm reading directly from them, from their store page. It's play four player. Wow, they even messed up this thing. They got me screwed up on that. Four, stop. Okay, 4-player co-op seamlessly through Steam, meaning no more port forwarding. So some of the games that you've played previously, you have to do port forwarding to get those connections working. Well, and in some cases it happens in the back end nowadays that people don't even realize it goes to that kind of stuff. But this one plays directly through Steam. There's no port forwarding that anybody has to do,
Okay.
or even clogs up your that. But there's 75 items at the time of this that you can unlock. So you have a base set of items that you can collect while you're playing the game, right? Like I believe it's like 50. So it's like 50 or 60 that you can collect normally standard, but over time there's 75 of them that you can unlock that'll actually give you more abilities, more skills. So there's one that's a teddy bear. Now, it's kind of funny because the sound for this is freaking hilarious. So you're getting hit and it'll block damage from happening to you. You get a 20% or 10% chance of it blocking damage. Well, every time it blocks damage, just think of a squeaker that you would hear in a dog toy or a stuffed animal or something like that. So all you're hearing is squeak, 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 squeak.
What's happening a lot? You hear.
Yeah, it is friggin' hilarious.
Okay.
So the sound effects are phenomenal itself. So you can tell what's going on without even seeing what's going on.
Okay. It sounds good.
So
You have to get some more
One more
time in
thing.
and tell us more about it. But
All right, one last thing. The most interesting aspect about the game is when you are collecting items, they visually show up on your character. So,
oh, nice.
like, if you have a soda can, it's there on your belt or somewhere, and it changes based on the character.
Mhm.
That's cool.
There's this like dog one, and you get like a steak that after you kill an enemy, it gives you health. And it's in his mouth, and he's just like there, and it's like, oh, it's so cute. It's you pet the little doggo with the stick, and then the more items you get, the more they show up. But it's only one per you get a stack of them, so it just stays in that one location, so it's not a bunch of stuff.
Well, still, I mean, that looks better. It's not. That's definitely nice that they went through and took the time to render that.
Yeah,
As opposed to, oh, I just have a backpack and 10 different swords in my back.
yeah. You can look at your friend and know, oh, hey, that's a really cool build.
Nice. Alrighty. Well, any other gaming tidbits or gaming experiences?
I'll hit quick notes.
Yes, please.
For me, like outside Division 2 on both systems, I've been diving deep into Outer Worlds, so I've been getting towards the end of that game, so it'll free up some time to sneak in another game, the one you keep telling me I should take out of the wrapper.
If not,
Days
send your
Gone.
PlayStation over to me with that game and I'll play it for you.
Maybe not, but there is another game that I am definitely thinking of getting to sneak into that empty slot, and that's Final Fantasy VII Remake. So
I can't
that
argue.
might,
That is gonna be so good. I can't wait to watch the
Yeah.
video on it.
so I'm going to probably pick that up. It's leaning toward a yes, but I don't know when I'll pick it up. But I'll sneak in there. But the next game I'm probably going to play is Days Gone because I'm almost done with Outer Worlds, and I've been playing quite a few indie games on the Switch. So,
Okay.
just random games, including going back and playing Torchlight 2, just because I love that game. You can loot forever in that game. So.
Oh yeah, I definitely think about throwing down on that again. But oh, got a Phoebe joining us, or she's something.
Hairball.
Hi there.
It's a hairball.
Ah, fair.
Hairball.
All right, let's move into some of our other news topics. We got quite a few in the entertainment side, movie side.
You got a lot of stuff.
Let's see. The first one is another casting news for The Mandalorian season 2.
Oh yes.
Recently, we didn't get a chance to talk about it on the show, but recently there was they announced Rosario Dawson is going to play a live-action version of Ahsoka Tano, which definitely I'm definitely curious to see how they're going to pull that off. And then this latest one is we're getting Michael Biehn from. Ironically, I just watched The Abyss last night. That's Michael Bihn's in that one. He's in Aliens. He's in Terminator. So quite a few sci-fi franchises. Plus, he was if I remember right, he was the antagonist in Far Cry 3. So, what do you guys think about that little tidbit of news?
I think it's pretty cool. He's going to be playing a bounty hunter. No details about what that character is, so it remains sparse. But just to be interesting, they have an opposite bounty hunter that parallels our main character. So,
Sal, Vol, what do you guys think?
I don't know too much about the Mandalorian, so I mean, other than excited that the acting capacity of the show is increasing with more talented actors. That is a very exciting proposition for the show itself to continue on. It looks like it's doing really good, and I'm actually kind of excited to eventually get to see it sometime.
What about you, Sal? Michael Biehn being added to the cast.
Remember, You good? Okay. Remember, I actually am not. I don't. How do I want to put this gently? I'm sorry, Rye. I don't care about who's playing what. I watch it for the content.
Well,
until I see the content, I can't give you an opinion.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't care who's playing it, as long as they can act and do it properly, give it justice, and the story flows properly. I'm not one to critique it.
So let me ask you in this way: I know you've seen films where he's in it. What do you think about the content he brings to the character?
I have no clue who the actor is.
Michael Biehn. He played Hicks in Aliens.
You gotta remember,
he was Coffee in The Abyss. He was John Reese in Terminator.
I don't think you're understanding. I don't know actors' name.
Okay. What about those three characters I just named?
I treat actors as if they're in that movie. I don't care if they've played other ones.
Okay.
Because the actor can change from movie to movie to a completely different role. I look at that role that they're in, not, okay, they've played this movie and they sucky at it. I'm not going to hold that against them because it may not have been their fault. It may have been the person writing the script, may have been the person that said that, hey, you're supposed to cry in this part when really you're not supposed to cry. You're supposed to do something else. I'm not going to hold that against the actor unless they really blatantly cannot act or say their lines. That's a whole different thing. But as I said, I watch the movie or the show for the content, not the actor,
Fair.
if that makes sense.
It does.
fair.
It's just trying to get an
I-
idea of like
yeah.
certain actors bring a certain level to their potential, and well, yes, for the longest time I couldn't tell you who Michael Biehn was until I started to realize he's in so many different franchises and has
yeah.
worked with a lot of interesting people.
And that's the thing. I am not one to get the hype of, oh, this, like Brad Pitt. You hear, oh God, Brad Pitt's in this movie. We got to go watch this movie because Brad Pitt. I could care less who's playing who or
Okay.
where they are, because I watch the movie for the movie, not for the actors, the director. Sorry, Rye. I could care less who does any of that. I watch the movie for entertainment alone. That's it. If it doesn't hit my fancy or put my hairs on end, I won't watch it again. You know what I mean? I don't.
I get you. I get you. Where we
You know,
we've covered that.
Understand what you're talking about.
We get it, and it's a great perspective because, and then it's something where it's really hard for people. It's like, okay, I watch movies for the entertainment, but then when you start getting into like what Rye's been doing and offering critiques and reviews, now all of a sudden you're just kind of moving into a more analytical approach to the movie, which for a lot of people can start to detract from exactly what you're saying. The movie
Correct.
is a piece of entertainment. I mean, the whole reason why The Wizard of Oz was one of the reasons Wizard of Oz was so successful at the time it came out is because it proved the whole concept of we go to the movie theater to escape, because when that movie was released, color was a new thing. The Great Depression was going on. So people needed an escape. And that's and 50 years or so later, over 70 years or so later, it's still the fact that people sometimes are really just, I want that escape. Is this show or is this content going to give me an escape, going to give me something that is going to distract me from the world around us?
Yeah. Film is subjective, and there's very many different layers of when you have like 5 people go in to watch a movie, they're going to come with 5 different perspectives.
Yes.
But the whole point of the film is that escape. It's just a matter of what kind of escape are you looking for.
Right. I think it's interesting too because you have that whole go to the theaters and experience thing as a group in that setting today is vastly different than when it was first, that first
That's
movie.
true. That's a very good thing.
Which brings us also to, some of the theaters that are around here during quarantine are going to be closed a lot longer than we had over, planned.
Good segue. Good
Great
segue.
Yeah, good segue to the next few articles.
Oh yeah, we're gonna go right in. We'll take that segue. We'll move right into an article about AMC theaters may be closed longer than expected. Because I mean, first time I think in any of our lifetimes,
Yes.
there's been 4. I think we're in week 4. No box office numbers.
Yes, it's been like forever and a day, maybe before even movie chains existed, where you had weeks of no box office.
And right now, the fact that virtually all of them have furloughed 90% of their workforce.
Oh yes.
So
I think some even furloughed like their CEO. I'm not sure if it was the movie business, but I heard that through the grapevine. So.
And it's interesting because technology has progressed to the point where you had seen things like it transition, where Blockbuster went under because VHS and people started streaming their services, where we're seeing possibly the beginning of the end of theater experiences, of maybe smaller theaters, stuff like that, where people would still want to go, but people would rather just stay home and stream, because if they're going to go to get a virus or bed bugs, lice, or who knows what, it's safer to be at home.
One of the things is like I'm curious. What about the fact there are still drive-in theaters in the country?
Yeah, I wonder how they're doing. That's a good question.
They're social distancing. They might still be doing things.
Yeah, drive-in theaters are still going strong. It's just they don't have, the new movies aren't being released, so they're just recycling old ones.
Well, yeah, because and again that shows a shift, kind of like what Graza was just
So-
alluding to. Blockbuster went under because of mail order rent services and streaming. I mean, Netflix has been the pioneer on that one. But
Yes.
So
go ahead.
for the drive-ins, I know for a fact that up in upstate New York, where I used to live, there is 3 drive-in theaters that are booming with business right now. It
That's
is
awesome.
the only theaters that were allowed to stay open. They got an actual pardon from the governor due to they were drive-in and they could do the social distancing. And also how their speakers work is through your own radio. So
That's
there
even
is
better.
no contact at all with anybody, and they keep the concession stand closed, of course, because of everything going on. But
Stuff.
the only thing that they interact with is an automated system at the front gate to buy a ticket, because their tickets are actually at $5 now to watch 3 movies,
That's really good.
and they're all the good movies, and they're
I mean,
new movies.
A drive-in
So-
is a great experience regardless because it's an old school
Correct.
time experience.
Yes.
So
And-
we were I think we were driving around the other day and we were commenting like Sonic's business model actually hasn't changed.
No,
It's the I mean other than the fact that within let's say the last 3 or 4 years they all of a sudden added dining rooms onto their thing, but their original business model of being
Well-
a drive-in or dine-in drive-in,
you got to
it's
remember
like,
their dining
works fine.
Their dining is outdoors still.
that's
They
true.
do not have an indoor dining. They have outdoor dining because they're classified still as a drive-in.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So I mean, they're still it's perfect. Their model hasn't changed. They're the
Nope.
kind of business that would thrive in this kind of environment.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh
But
God.
what do you think? So let's
Well, at
play-
least Taco Bell's not going to win out.
No.
can't go
You're
wrong with
welcome.
that movie.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with that movie now.
Got a 3 she-cells.
Yeah. But let's so AMC has an on-demand service.
Yes, they do.
We know right now the theater. We've seen that the major distributors are starting to put their films on demand and at a higher rental price. Like Invisible Man was $20 to rent right now. What do you guys think about the possibility that the 3 major theater chains don't reopen?
Real possible.
And
I am gonna
do you
say-
think that's really good? Do you think the impact is going to be that significant to the whole concept of movie watching? Now, obviously, we've seen in the last few years Amazon, Netflix, Hulu, Disney. They have these streaming services. They're making content straight to the service. One of our articles we're gonna get into is how Disney put out an updated release schedule, and some films that was going to be in the release for theaters are now going straight to their streaming platform.
Well,
There's other things that might play into the fact of, do you want to go here or here? So with the fact that chains are shut down right now, movie theater chains are shut down right now for obvious reasons, but I think it's a 50-50 thing where they might shut down completely or might not, because the thing is that going on the assumption that nobody's going to go to the theater is saying like that the assumption that nobody's ever going to go out to experience a concert, go to a party, go to a brewery, go to somewhere where there's a gathering. What's going to happen is that people are just going to be nervous to go into certain places because a mixture of media sensationalism and mixed messages from their own politicians. So what AMC, like you said, has got going for them is like, even though nobody's going to the theaters, they have that on-demand service. Plus, once they kick in their A-list back in, they're going to have that subscription service. Plus, a lot of these big chains don't just have just go to the theater, sit and go home. There's experiences. the AMC Lynn Haven right by our house. It has a bar. It has the IMAX, the Dolby Cinema. Has a various different ways of experiencing the movie other than just sitting on your couch at home waiting for your dogs to bark at you or your kids to yell at you. So there is that experience, like Volgaraza said, when you go see a movie like Endgame in the theater with all those people and you get to experience the same emotions, highs and lows with the people that you know love that journey. You can't get that same by just sitting on the couch at home, even though the
Now,
convenient factor is there. That I understand that fact.
now, thinking about it that way, now for the experience wise, now if you think about what about the gaming center?
Are you talking about like Dave and Buster?
LAN party. No, LAN party. You go out, bring your computer to go to a buddy's house, or you go to a LAN party, a dedicated area to go to a LAN party. Go and play games at a LAN location,
Yeah, they got quite
at
a few
internet
down here.
cafes.
Yeah.
But so in that same aspect, a lot of the gaming centers, because I used to run one, that went down real quick. The only places that really have gaming centers anymore are the people that have esports and that kind of stuff, and those are really not even for a general public.
The largest LAN party I know of on a regular basis was PAX.
Correct.
Yeah.
And
For
And
that, you
that
didn't even
was-
bring your computer. They had set up dedicated rooms for you to sit and play in a LAN party.
and those were limited, very limited on how long you could play. You could only play for about a half an hour to 45 minutes, depending on what badge you had.
Yeah. Well, overall though, do you think that? I mean, how long do you think it's going to be? This whole shift in the
Well,
in the new market as we come out of this, because we're going to come out of it. As we
So-
come out of it, do you think that it's going to be a struggle to get back to what it was, the quote unquote normalcy
So-
of theater traffic?
the
It-
the whole reason I brought that up was the simple fact of they're still going on,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but they're very small and very far and few between.
Yeah, I don't think
So
every
that's
movie
the same
theater
thing.
is ever going to go away.
And that's
But
the
I
same
think
thing.
I
They're
think
still gonna
overall
be
it's going to
there.
drop in
What
popularity.
Oh yeah.
What's going to happen is this is what's going to happen, which has been happening over the last few years. The theater experience is going to be for the big films, the Avengers End games, the Star Wars, the Mission Impossibles, the James Bonds. Like those are the movies that are going to start to become the ones that you want to see on the big screen. That was already happening within the last few years. This
True.
pandemic has just driven up the fact that hey, you have Warner Brothers, Universal, Disney. They have all these smaller films or all these other films that they can push out to different platforms. That the mid-market films, the ones back in the day you would see in the theaters, like when Harry Met Sally, A Sleepless in Seattle, even like a Quentin Tarantino film like Pulp Fiction. That's considered a mid-tier film, where like back in the day they would make a lot of money. Nowadays they're sitting right at the middle line of should the studios push this movie out to theaters and be able to recuperate, where they can now test the waters with all these streaming services like
Or is
Ben
it
Affleck's
better
film
break-even
Way
point?
Back, or the movie I watched and reviewed a few weeks back, Emma, pushing them out to VOD to like, hey, I can actually watch this at home and catch up and not have it fall through the cracks because I couldn't get to the theaters. So
Let me ask you: have you seen any numbers on as far as break even with some of those films that have gone to VOD?
I haven't seen that, but from the just the inklings through the internet, people are going and watching films that they would normally not see in the theaters, like The Way Back or Emma or The Hunt, or some of these smaller films that aren't getting the big presses, and only the people that would know about them, the people that follow the film circuit like me.
Okay.
So yeah, people are like going through their TVs and VODs like, oh, this looks like a cool film, let me watch this, because they're in the comfort of their home. So the big studios are going to be testing the streaming services for these mid-tier films or smaller films. And just the other day, a lot of the smaller films that were going to be at the South by Southwest are going to be pushed out to Amazon Prime. So there's going to be a lot more eyes on these films that hit the film festival, that people that hear about them like, I don't have access to them. Now you do, because of Amazon Prime.
that works. Speaking of stuff like that, let's was it Netflix is making a live action Dragon's Lair.
Woo!
I'd be honest, I haven't played this, but I know the iconography, and if I see a clip from it, I will recognize Dragon's Lair.
Yeah. Dragon Slayer was a big game during the 80s. I was a baby, so I didn't live that era as much as some of the other ones that are around me on this video. But the one thing that stands out is that from the article on Kotaku, Ryan Reynolds is going to star in the film adaptation and produce it too. Just to throw out a name out there.
I'm kind of liking that.
I actually grew up. My mom had a arcade back in the day, and I grew up playing in the arcade.
Oh,
and
wow.
Dragon Slayer. I got to actually play Dragon Slayer. She would give us a quarter and be like, "Here you go." And
from what I understand, that had some really amazing graphics for the time period.
Hand animation was great.
Yeah.
And I liked it. I never beat it, but I'd take my other quarter and play Star Wars Trench Runner. And then I just do remissions and be like, "Hey, this kid's been playing for like an hour, doing on one quarter." And then the other guy's like, "Hold my beer, watch this. I can do this," and they die in the first one. How is this little kid doing that? Kind of thing.
Trade secrets, can't tell you.
Yeah,
Saladin, what about you? What's your experience with Dragon's Lair? What do you think about a live action adaptation of Dragon's Lair? Not liking the idea?
Sometimes the unwanted or the unexpected can turn out to be a delightful treat.
That's true. I mean, it's a video game adaptation, so it's already got an uphill climb. But I think as far as a video game, what are your thoughts on the game?
I have no idea.
All right. Well, I'd say I guess we have to defer to Graza being the expert on the panel. He's actually had the opportunity to play it. I've only seen it in Stranger Things and a couple of cartoons.
It was quick time events before its time.
Nice.
That's the best way to describe it. If you didn't do the right action, you didn't do the right action at the right time, game over, buddy.
Oh.
And there was no way to know. It was like, okay, what did I do? Happening? Go this way? Oh, you died. There were tentacle monsters or something like that. Oh well.
That's wild. Alrighty.
Yeah, that's basically about it. It was quick time events before its time.
Nice. All right. Well, our last story on this is looks like Animaniacs reboot. Looks like it's gonna have the original cast come back.
I am excited. I'm absolutely excited.
Animaniacs.
What are we gonna do tonight? I don't know, Brian. Same thing we do. I don't know where we're gonna find Leaderhouse and all size.
I actually miss Tiny Toons more than I miss Animaniacs.
Oh, yeah. Tiny Toons was pretty good though.
I must say 60-40 towards Animaniacs because I watched that religiously when it was on TV.
It was definitely clever and a lot, and you had to. There were some subtleties. If you weren't paying attention, you definitely missed. But
Freakazoid was ahead of its time for its use of how the internet as a whole would be used.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
A living meme, basically. It was a meme before.
All right. So before we move on to, we got two odds and ends stories. Not that it really matters with all that we've talked about, but anything else from our list of news articles you guys want to touch on? I know we briefly skimmed over Disney's release schedule and reference like Artemis Fowl is coming to strictly to Disney Plus instead of being a theatrical release because of COVID.
The 2 cents on the Artemis Fowl is that I think the reason they're pushing it to Disney Plus, there's a twofold approach to this. One, it was not tracking to making the money that it was expected, so Disney was like, let's put it on Disney Plus and get more attention to it. And two, the fact that they're putting it on Disney Plus is that it's just so that they have some newer original content on that streaming platform. Because we know Disney Plus has a lot of back catalog, but some of the some of the complaints out there is that there's not a lot of original stuff coming out quickly.
Well, considering a lot
So
of the
this-
stuff they have in development is now
Yeah.
on hold because the world shut down for like the last
Yeah.
month.
So because of all that shutdown and pushing a lot of that those products down the road, this will fill that slot of okay, we'll put this on Disney Plus, give it some original stuff, and there you go.
Get it where the eyes are, basically.
Yeah.
Where your audience is. Since everybody's at home, you do it on Disney Plus. It might be, like we've talked about before, become more popular than it would have ever been if it had a theatrical release.
So it's another one that falls in that thing of, hey, it'll get more eyes, might get more word of mouth and get people to watch it, but also drive people to their streaming service. So
That
there's
works. Alrighty. Well,
and and the moving the dates of the MCU, that was going to happen because they have to keep it on a certain timeline.
so yeah, I guess we'll see how it goes. I mean, Garrett's going to shift us 6 months on some of the films we were originally planning to watch, but it's all good.
Got plenty of stuff to watch and do between then.
Last couple of things we have here is these are odd, and that's Mountain Dew flavored Doritos.
Well, so when you want to hydrate and also watch your shows that you're trying to catch up on backlog, right?
Doritos, it's like the
Are they
quintessential
caffeinated, or-
snack food for gamers. I mean, they've had how many different marketing campaigns have they used where they're targeting gamers? And Mountain Dew, again, how many different marketing campaigns target gamers with Mountain Dew?
Yeah,
and now
I
you're
was
trying to put Mountain
that
Dew flavored chips.
gamer.
This is not something I'm going to try. No. I
Well,
mean,
I'm
like,
not
I
trying
try
it
it probably
either.
on stream, maybe, but, like, as far as, I'll probably buy it and eat it all the time.
You know what? Honestly, I think the next time once this whole isolation things and we could sit at the table, let's put a bowl in front and see how fast it disappears.
One
Like,
sip,
I'm not going to eat
good.
it. 2 seconds later.
I can't stop.
You never know. I mean, sometimes it's like the name sounds really weird, but
Like,
once you have it in front of you and you have a chance to
bacon-flavored
try it.
soda.
It's just kind of like I said, I'll never drink soda again, and then I'm drinking Pepsi Zeros. So yeah,
See? Granted,
But I
gotta
do
question
have
your
the
choice in
orange
soda,
drink.
but hey,
orange drink has returned.
the orange tree has returned.
Oh, good. Lots of vitamin C.
Yes.
What's the
Another
last thing here?
last thing, which we're all stuck at home, so our caves and whatever. Can't travel. How about you learn a language? What is this? Babbel is 60% off.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah,
Dios
there's
mío.
50% off. You can learn a lot of languages.
Well, it's funny because we were just talking last time about dub versus sub, and that whole thing with that. Well, I guess now you could do this thing with Babbel, start learning Japanese, and practice your Japanese by understanding the original versions of these anime.
Hot-cake. お寺はどこですか?
See? No idea what you
私は
Sounded cool, but no idea.
Let's see. What is it?
I'm gonna have to look into that.
おはようございます。僕はジェーメンです。よろしく. That's the extent of my Japanese.
Okay,
And
translation.
Abaka. Oh, hello. I'm Jamin. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
That's my real name, but anyway.
Alrighty. Well, anything else? Burning discussion items.
Well, I did send like a last second article we can throw in the odds and ends.
I hadn't had a chance to check it out.
Okay. I'll go ahead and put it in our chat here on Twitch, but it is something reported through our local news.
Oh, really?
Local.
Yeah, Wavy.
Oh, let's do some local stuff. Anything good?
Okay. It says a police department uses eerie sirens from the purge to signal the start of coronavirus curfew down in the Acadia parish of Louisiana. To get people to go home, they've been blaring this out there.
Wow. Oh.
So there you go. A little odds and ends.
Yep, time to go lock the doors.
Oh, Admiral
yeah.
Admiral Y11 in the chat is talking about learning German. That's not a bad language to learn.
Admiral, hey, how's it going, man?
So
He's one of our game buddies.
yeah, thanks
Oh,
for
yeah.
hanging out with us.
Hello. Thank you for joining.
So, and he references Six Underground, which I know that was a Ryan Reynolds movie on Netflix.
Yep.
I haven't had a
I
chance to
heard
check
it's
that one out
insane.
either.
I heard it's insane.
Yeah, most things Ryan Reynolds is attached to, there's a level of crazy to just
Yeah,
ignore it.
but also it's directed by Michael Bay, and he was given unlimited money, and Netflix just said, "Go be crazy." So.
Oh, Michael Bay. So every 3 seconds there's an explosion. Gotcha.
Oh no, that's the theatrical.
Oh, 3
That's
minutes.
He has unlimited access with Netflix, so it's more of a millisecond explosion. So,
Every 3 milliseconds there's an explosion.
Now
Maybe
we will
we-
steal this money. Kaboom! And this hot dog is spicy. Kaboom!
This is- Oh,
All right,
really?
I think that about.
okay.
You know what? Now I'm gonna have to check that out since to be honest, thinking Michael Bay, thinking explosions, but Admiral's saying it's a different style than what's usual Michael Bay. So,
Hmm.
Interesting.
Interesting.
I saw it on there. I think I will check it.
Hey, wait. We can make that the movie
The
of
thing?
the review, but the raw reviews I can add it.
6 Underground.
yeah.
600
There you go.
now. Everybody got access to Netflix.
Yeah, we got it.
Well, let's do that.
All
Let's talk Six Underground next week. Kind of prelude to next week. Thanks for that suggestion, Admiral.
All right, I'll throw that on the deck. 6 Underground this weekend.
Yeah, I'll make a note of
Maybe
it
a
too.
second movie. I'll make that a mystery
I'll put
because
my
there's a couple
analytical
Blu-rays
brain
I
on and
have
watch
that I
it.
haven't watched. So I might. There's a comedy sitting in my crate that I want to watch from last year.
Oh, okay.
I might add that as numero 2.
Okay.
I'll leave it as a mystery, unless you really want to know.
Well, yeah. Maybe it's something else I've heard of.
Okay. It's that comedy that came out last year. It was around August, called Good Boys, with the kids.
Yeah, that's on HBO right now.
Yep, I have it on Blu-ray. It's one of the ones that I haven't watched, so I'll make that movie number 2.
Because I think that one's rated R.
Yes. So
It's
they
like
are
middle
comparing
school
it as like-
kids. A rated R film about middle school kids. Like, really?
yes, they said it's like the middle school kid version of Superbad. So
I have
and
more
I
super
love
bad.
Superbad. So
Oh yeah, I did hear about that one. Yeah, that seemed
Super-
interesting. But, like, you can't watch your own film. Sorry, guys. It's like rated R. Like, oh, come on, man. The
Yeah,
children
that
who
would
are
be
acting
pretty
in the movie
bad.
can't go see because
yes, the parents said no, but we starred in it. Why? Because
Yeah,
We're
we
here
started.
on the
You just
red
got to
carpet
wait.
for the premiere. What's up?
so
It's the PG-13. It's like 5 minutes long.
I'll okay, I'll sneak that in. 6 Underground and Good Boys. That's a good compliment. You have an action film and a comedy, rated R comedy, with middle school kids.
So yeah, another just a quick thing on the end. It was another podcast support. There was somebody wanting to get a group of us together to just kind of commiserate and chat, and another person was asking about doing getting a show together to talk about how we're getting by through this whole self-isolation. I'd say for us, we've been getting by pretty good with keeping ourselves busy with projects at home, keeping tabs on the media circuit in terms of what movies and games. National media, I'm really not too busy trying to pay attention on. I think today I watched the president's briefing, and it's like the first one I actually put it on to listen to. I've been catching a lot of the governor's stuff.
But I usually pay attention to the governor stuff just because it's
local.
the state I live in, so it's more closer.
Yeah.
But I just pay attention to see the graphs, see the numbers, and see where I can go out to. So
Yeah, because I think I just like watching a recent thing from Adam Savage. It's like, you know what, just ignoring the media is probably one of the best things to do right now, because we all know the orders are there till the end of April, or in some cases the middle of June.
Yeah,
So-
June 10th for here, unless it's rescinded.
Yeah, the federal thing was April 30th or whatever. I know April 20th schools are going to get going. At least the Chesapeake schools are going to get going again for their virtual classes, which will be nice.
Yeah, Virginia Beach has already been doing theirs since they kicked all the kids out. They were already doing it online.
There's
I know
several
Virginia-
private schools I know of
Yeah.
that are doing it too. Just some areas just aren't up to that speed yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Virginia Beach has a very robust online capability for their public schools.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of various chats and whatnot through the various like Google Classroom as being a big one.
Yeah, but yeah, it does. I do see it as a positive because it gives the kids a pre-workout when they head into college, because college is a mixture of on campus and online. I went
I'm
through
wondering.
it.
I'm curious
Sorry.
how this is going to change going into next year. Is this going to be more of a thing and less of traditional in-school stuff?
It'd be interesting.
Yeah, all I know is doing that training through online. It does have its pluses and minuses. It just depends on the material you're training, who you're training or teaching, and can they maintain the connection throughout the whole class. So
Well, it's going to definitely change the caliber of trainers, that's for sure. I'm sure you're
Yeah.
learning a lot training virtually versus training in person.
yes, trust me, I know it's a headache, but I make it work.
I didn't say it wasn't. I said you're probably learning quite a bit from the experience.
Oh, yeah, I am learning a lot. It's adding a lot to my skills. It's adding a lot to what I plan to try to do in the future, since everybody knows I want to be a professor and teacher. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it'll help add to my skill set that I can train in the class and online.
Yeah, especially because doing more of the virtual stuff, next thing you know, you'll have students in Germany and Japan.
Yes, I guess I'll go get me a subscription to that Babbel so I can speak some German.
Right. All right, well, I think we're good for the night, guys. So
Yes.
go ahead and run through our contact infos. And before I hit the button, Graza, Saladin, you want to do your contact stuff? And I'll try and make note to put it in the contact page later.
Yes, you can find me on Twitter at JaminAllen1 here, like that. You can find my art there if you want to contact me. You can message me on Twitter if you'd like. Sal, you can find on Discord, Saladin, stuff like that. Or contact me. You can contact me and I'll get you in contact with.
All right.
Right.
All right. So for Rye, you can find Rye at.
You can find me on Instagram under Incubus Trab and message me, like my photos, send a friend request.
All right. You can find me at Scuba Cod on Twitter, most of the game channels and whatnot. Scuba Studio on Twitch and Mixer. Also have Instagram. There's Facebook page, Scuba Studio. Go check that out. Also have a YouTube channel. Check out the videos on YouTube as we get them up. And we also have Discord. So Scuba Studio on Discord. Come check it out. Chat with us as we go through this quarantine stuff. Asking everybody kind of stay safe, keep things positive, and we will see you all on the other side.
Wash your hands.
Yeah, wash your hands, do all those things, social distancing. Just, ultimately it boils down to just common sense, people. Common
your
sense.
part.
If you got a mask, wear a mask. If you don't want to wear a mask, just don't be around people.
And if you feel sick,
All the
stay
rules,
home.
Yes, very much so.
So I
This
can
is
get back
probably
to
the
my
best
brewery and
time.
drinking.
This is probably the best time to not be criticized if you're feeling bad.
Right.
So
Run
with
it
that,
off. Run it off.
good night, everyone. Thank you, and we will catch you all on our next one.
Peace.